Calgary Flames got demolished on home ice last night by the Tampa Bay Lightning, and Calgary's goaltending on paper is taking the biggest hit. This hurts the trade value for Dan Vladar, who most likely isn't in the Flames' plans for the future. With the special teams also floundering, the Flames find themselves in a tough situation. Is it finally time to bring up Dustin Cooley? And spoiler alert, breaking news, there will be some crazy updates later in this video. But first, I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I'm Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family. And let's hop in and address the bad news first, shall we call it, and talk about last night's game. If you missed it, I am happy for you because it was an abysmal performance. Well, I don't know. It wasn't honestly the Flames' worst performance of the season, but the score certainly shows that as they lost 8-3 on home ice, where the Flames usually play really well. And the game was still within reach going into the third period. Another place where the Flames are usually pretty comfortable, but it totally got away from them in this one. Nikita Kucherov ended up getting 6 points, doubled the points that the Flames scored goals, which is not good at all. I believe we had a Jake Gensel hat trick as well. It was just a bad performance all over. And I mean, of course, you look at the goaltending right away when it's 8 goals. And yes, wasn't Vladar's best game, but we'll get into that as that is how the situation, of course, gets a lot worse here as we get into it. But as always, let's take a quick look at the box score. So we start with Vladar. He faced 26 shots and gave up 8 goals, which of course is an awful stat line. The 8 goals against and the .692 save percentage. I mean, you want your save percentage to start with that 0.9. If not 0.8, hopefully high. 0.7, you know you've had an absolute hooner. And if it starts with 0.6, oh my goodness, pack your bags. You're going to the Guangdong Tigers. Hope you know Chinese, buddy. But that wasn't really the case in this one. It was more so the defense was terrible. I'm not saying Vladar by any means had a great game. I mean, look at that. Only 18 saves on 26 shots isn't great. We will get into it more later in this video. This video is centered around the goaltending and that situation there. But if we take a look at the scores, Huberdeau, once again, another 1 goal, 1 assist night for him. His longest point streak as a Calgary Flame. He is playing his best hockey as a Flame lately. A great goal off of a very fancy play. Great to see. Zary got a goal as well, which is nice. And Kadri got an absolute stunner of a goal, hopping over a man, doing a bit of a 360 and then potting it home behind Vasi. But great stuff from Kadri there. Coleman and Ball pick up assists as well. So not too many men on the score sheet, but that is just the way she goes. The one thing I do want to address in this chapter, though, was the special teams, as I alluded to in the introduction to this video. So if you take a look at the shots on goal there, you know, the Flames weren't ever really outshot too bad in any period. They never gave up more than 10 shots in a period, but they also didn't get more than 10 shots in a period. So it's not like they got completely outplayed, even though they got outscored majorly, massively. The things that it really went down. So face-offs, we know the Flames suck in the face-off dot, but this was terrible. They won less than 40% of the draws last night. Only 24 of the 64 is horrendous. They need to address that. But even more so, the Flames did not get a power play in this game, so they didn't have a chance with the man advantage. But their penalty kill was back to how it has been, other than the past few games here before Huska called them out. 3 power plays against, 3 power play goals against. So the penalty kill struggled and gave up goals on all 3 attempts, which is bad look. So there's another situation that is starting to get a lot worse. We were very concerned about the power play earlier this season. It's the penalty kill now that is really starting to kill the Flames. And again, you can't blame Vladar for those power play goals. It really was the men in front of him. At least the Flames were throwing the body around. But yeah, a bit of a rough one there. A good summary from it. This is from the Calgary Herald, I believe, written by Wes Gilbertson. So he said, the Flames were bad defensively at 5-on-5 on Thursday. So it's not like the penalty kill was the only issue. Yes, the Flames were bad defensively for essentially all 60 minutes of this game. That's not totally true. There were actually some decent defensive plays, but still, you can't totally blame the penalty kill on this one. They only gave up as much as the Flames scored. So in a way, they're drawn, but still, you don't want to be giving up 3 power play goals against in a game. But they were thoroughly outclassed by a Lightning power play that looked terrifying at times. It really did. The Lightning had 3 power plays and scored all 3 times. The scary part was that it looked almost automatic and like the Flames had no chance of disrupting their quick crisp passing. It almost felt like it was just a matter of time before they'd score, and they did. The Flames PK has rightfully earned praise for their improvements it has shown over the past couple games, but Thursday was a regression, and that is an understatement for sure. Hopefully the penalty kill can get it back going. But let's get into what to do with the goalies here. And it's so funny because I prepped this video before the news. Now, if we quickly go back to the box score here, again, look at Dan Vladar's stat sheet. That is awful. That is absolutely terrible. No team would ever want to trade for that. And again, it's tough because he genuinely, you can't fault him for this loss, even though he gave up all 8 goals. It really wasn't on him. The team in front of him looked terrible. But are other teams who might be trading for him care about that? Not at all. They're going to look at his stats. They're going to look at game stats, and this one really does hurt. So there's no way to paint a pretty picture of Vladar's night. He stopped only 18 of 26 shots. After all, no goalie is going to be okay with that. But the guys in front of him deserve much of the blame. The Lightning found ways to get open in front of the net and buried point-blank opportunities. You could reasonably go back and watch 8 of their goals and feel like none of them were fully Vladar's fault. It was hanging Vladdy out to dry, which is unacceptable. Weegar said, that's all the leaders, including myself. So it was just a bad team performance. Each of the 3 players who spoke with the media after the game said a variation of the same thing. The team as a whole let Vladar down. He'll still be kicking himself for not making big saves when he needed to, but when blame gets assigned for Thursday's collapse, it shouldn't start with the guy between the pipes. It wasn't a good night for the Flames in front of him, in my opinion. Sorry, it wasn't a good night for the guys in front of him, in my opinion, said Flames coach Ryan Huska. So everyone knows what really went on. If you didn't catch the game and you're thinking Vladar's the worst goalie in Flames history, that's just not the case here. But hopefully his trade value doesn't decrease too much. That's how this situation gets a lot worse, is that, you know, already teams are starting to trade for other goalies. You know, we saw Mackenzie Blackwood get traded recently. We've seen some other goalie trades earlier on in the season. And it almost seems like Carolina might be still looking for a goalie. And maybe Vladar can be a guy they're going for. So hopefully this doesn't make the situation too much worse in terms of his trade value. As if we take a quick look at the Flames goalie stats for this season now. So Vladar has actually had the majority of the starts now, with 16 games played, just a 6-6-4 record. So that fake 500 that we've been talking about, but a 500 record nonetheless. The 308 goals against average and an 885 save percentage is not what teams are going to be looking for. Hopefully, you know, they do some research. If they are interested in Vladar, they actually watch the games and see that, look, with an actual competent team in front of you, you could be really good. Not that I'm saying the Flames are bad, of course. I absolutely love the Flames, but they look terrible last night. Wolfie, in comparison, in his 14 games, 8-5-1, the 284 goals against average and a 909 save percentage. That is a very good for the future. At least we can say that about Wolf. And those stats did look a lot better before his past few starts. So hopefully he can get back on track. But one question that came out of all of this was, when is it time to bring up Cooley? So if we take a quick look here, Cooley's stats in the AHL, he actually leads the entire AHL in goals against average at 1.80, which is fantastic. And if you take a look at the top 4 here, he's played the most games by a mile. So in 18 games, he has a 180 goals against average, which is fantastic. He's also tied for top of the league with a 942 save percentage, a 14-3 record, just 31 goals against in those 18 games. He is playing fantastic hockey. And what's really funny about that is it did spark kind of this, well, is he going to get a chance? Is he going to get a chance sort of thing? And, well, here you go. The Flames did it right before I'd started recording this. This was actually announced. But the Flames have recalled goaltender Devin Cooley on an emergency basis from the Calgary Wranglers. So Cooley will be up to most likely back up Dustin Wolf, but we could see Cooley get some action here. Now, the downside to this is that Vladar is the reason why he's out. Was it because of that performance? No. He is out day to day with, I believe, a lower body injury, which again, that might make the situation a lot worse as well if he is injured. We already have Kuzmenko, who has essentially no trade value anymore. We don't want Vladar to be in that category as well. But I think a lot of people will be happy that Cooley is coming up to the main team after being fantastic in the A. Why does it seem like our goalies are always so good in the AHL? Hopefully he can translate that game to the NHL if he does see some action. And of course, we wish a speedy recovery to Dan Vladar. Now let's wrap this one up with the comment of the day, as we love to do here on the channel. It comes from yesterday's video, and it comes from CW Media _CN. And they said, I just really don't see any point of Kuzi in the lineup anymore. I don't think he's going to produce much from here to the deadline, nor drive up his value. And it's true. I think a lot of people would rather see someone like Jacob Pelche actually in the lineup for Kuzmenko. Now, you don't send someone with Kuzi's contract down to the A. But, I mean, crazier things have been done, but agreed. To me, it really seems like Kuzmenko is destined to go back to the KHL at this point. I think Conroy has probably already been looking around to see if anyone will take kind of this dead weight almost from us. But it is a really sucky situation. I mean, again, we can hope his game picks up, his trade value increases, but right now that situation is not looking great either. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe like we saw here today and have a wonderful rest of your day.